Hello everybody. Hey, it's still April 17th. It's very late. Actually, it's probably early morning, April 18th. But I wanted to get this out now so that you all would see it in the morning. If you're seeing this, it's morning time for you. Or at least it's April 18th or whenever you see it. I wanted to explain a little bit about what I'm going to show you. I've taken some pictures with the camera that I'm recording on right now. So they're not the best, but you'll get the idea of these operatives. I wanted to explain how this thing works in the field, and I don't know exactly what their courses of action were or how they wanted to play out the scenario, but we do know that the first scenario they wanted was to have a white right-wing conservative, supposedly, with an Al-Qaeda connection of some sort, either educational materials or maybe an Al-Qaeda operative along with them. That was the one that they really wanted to go with. They have a fallback position, and that's called the diversion team, okay? And that's what they're giving to us now. And I'll explain why they have that here in just a minute. The diversion team is the one where they have the guy with the white hat and the blue athletic suit, the second guy in that team. So, and you'll see those pictures in a minute. So let me give you a little broad overview of how an operation like this would be set up organizationally. You'd have this FBI rogue team, the same one that goes to, and it's well known by the shadow government in control here, and probably by the FBI itself. But they're a team that goes to like the Aurora shooting or a bombing situation, and they're the experts, right? Well, what they really are is they're the cover to develop the scenario and control the dissemination of information. Okay, so that's how they make sure that what they want out gets out, and you'll see that in just a minute as I explain that. So yeah, that team there. That team then controls a field operation commander, okay? And in this situation, he's going to be the guy that you see with a circuit board in his hand, and likely that's the same circuit board they find later on the street, okay? Interestingly enough, he's holding this thing after the bomb has gone off and he's walking by. I'm not sure why that happened, but at any rate, that's basically the commander, okay, there. Underneath him, you'll have basically two teams, okay, and they're the attack teams. They're the guys that actually carry the bombs, all right? And there's also, in this situation, handlers, controllers, who are probably also handling not just the guys with the bombs, but the diversionary team. And the diversionary team, and you'll notice these guys, they're wearing, if you're doing an operation, you try to wear inconspicuous clothing by and large, usually blacks, browns, that kind of thing. And in this situation, we know that the public was told that there was a drill going on, not to be concerned about the guys with backpacks on. And you'll see those two guys, two of them, in some of these pictures. But the diversionary team, that's the interesting one, because they're not dressed where they're inconspicuous. Even today, the FBI said that the photographs and the videos they have in that department store, I'm sorry it's late, I've already forgotten the name of it, Lord and Taylor I think is it, has a white hat and then the blue athletic suit, and you'll see those two guys. If you are an operative, you don't want to be noticeable, and these two guys stand out in a crowd because of that white hat and that blue athletic suit. So they're the knuckleheads who don't know what they're getting into here. And one of those guys, the guy with the white hat, actually handed his bag off to another operative who actually said it. So this was a very well thought out plan. Now, what happened today, the information on these operatives came out with all these pictures, and the scenario they wanted to go with was, as I kind of explained, a white right-wing extremist, like I said, it's late, with help from Al-Qaeda. That was going to be the first scenario, and that's what they were going to introduce today at the courthouse. And they did tell, I'm certain, these people in the media that they had made an arrest. But the media's, CIA controlled, FBI controlled, FCC controlled, so they're told how far they can go with these things. So they first made this announcement Then just by chance, this information on the operatives came out, and they realized they had a problem, so they pulled back on that scenario, okay? What happened to the guys that they had at the courthouse, or the guy they had at the courthouse, rather? Well, he's probably in some, cement shoes right now with a bullet in his head at the bottom of some, watery grave. That would be my guess. Another patsy, actually. Knowing that they had that problem, they said, no, we don't really have a guy. They shut down the courthouse on a bomb scare, got that guy out of there, then said that they didn't have an arrest, they didn't have a suspect, and then they've moved to these other two patsies, the diversionary team. So that's basically how I think this thing is gone. And now let me show you these guys, and then I won't comment after that. I'll just let you see it, and we'll just go from there maybe a little later. Okay, and here's another one of the command team, probably the guy in control of the detonators. He's holding something there. It's hard to tell from this, but they find that circuit board later on the street. Alright, and these guys here would be the handlers. They also probably have backup bombs with them, just in case, depending upon what scenario they're going to go with, or if they have to create another diversion. And here they are. You can see they're the same two guys, and that's why this is crisscross like that, to show you that they're basically there and they're watching the objective, so to speak. This guy here is an actual bomber. They probably don't like the fact that he was pinpointed, but look how he's dressed. Pretty much innocuous, pretty much incognito. You wouldn't find him particularly remarkable, and he's very difficult to pick out of a crowd. Alright? He's the one that left the explosive device at the second area where the second explosion went off, by the trash can. Okay, in this picture here, you'll see this guy that I have right in the center there. He has a dark coat on, curly hair, and glasses. Okay, I want to show you in another picture. In this picture, he's now holding a bag, and he has a brown coat on. It's typical for operatives to change their appearance, especially guys like this. Looks very innocuous, almost like a nerd when you look at him. But what's happened is that the guy in the white hat passed off his pack probably to this guy here, who then set the bomb, the first one that went off up by the bleachers. And there's a better picture of him, I guess, right here. This picture is hard to see, but this is probably one of the guys that he either is the guy or the partner of the guy who had the guy in the white hat pass the bomb to him and then placed it. It's hard to see in this picture. This guy here is an operative as well, the guy with the green hat and the hoodie there. Okay, we'll see where he shows up later. Okay, these two guys would be considered the diversion team, and you can see why. The guy on the very front there with the circle around him, he has a white hat. Now, that's not very inconspicuous. The rest of his clothing is inconspicuous, but not that white hat. He'd be picked out of a crowd anywhere. The guy on the left in the blue jumpsuit or athletic suit, that blue is also going to be very easily identified. Now my guess is that this is the diversionary team in case the first plan goes bad. They can finger these two, and that's what's happened. I believe these are the two that are going to be caught on the camera at Lord & Taylor. Now, you'll notice that the guy on the right with the white hat no longer has the backpack that he had earlier. He's passed it off to another operative who actually planted the bomb. All right, so this is the diversionary team. These are the guys that will take the fall if the first plant has to be aborted and they go to a fallback position. That's really the purpose of these two knuckleheads right here. And in this picture here, we're going to show the diversion team that's moving out. There they are right there. Okay. We're going to show the bomber at the second point of detonation. He's the guy who plants the second bomb. Okay, so there's the guy that, as I said, takes the bomb to the second location down by the trash can. And then here's the guy who, at this point in time, is in a brown coat. See him right there in the center? He has that bag, and he's going to place that bomb or hand it off to the other guy that we showed in that earlier picture. I'm not sure which way that went, but after this guy sets the bomb, he then either changes into his black coat, or he had a black coat on before he got to this point. I'm not sure which. But as you can see from the picture, he's right here where the first bomb went off. So he set that bomb right where he is in this picture, right? Where did I go? There he is, right there. All right, so we got that figured out. And so I hope that was a little instructive. You'll also have a cover team or an observation team, and that's where some of those other guys come in that we don't really know what they were up to, but they're out there to basically observe and to cover in case something goes wrong, or in case the commander or the handlers or team leaders need to know of anything going on in the immediate area that might interfere with the operation. So, okay, that's just a real quick rundown. It's not in a lot of detail, but I just wanted to let